Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Fire Them Cannons. Make sure you're hitting the like button and subscribing and sharing towards everybody you know. By the way, the subs in the last few days for this channel have been going up pretty significantly. We're at 145 now, so we're pushing towards that 150, but it was like 120 3 days ago, so...
keep it up, people. Keep it up.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm actually looking at there's some comments from our post game show already. Nice. See, the community is building. So, guys, keep up that good momentum. Keep liking. I mean, if you've subscribed already, you don't have to worry about it. But for everybody else who's new, if you're watching this content for the first time, doesn't take much out of your day just to hit that subscribe button. And we have some amazing content for you, just like what we are going to do today. Match week 31, which, by the way, Arsenal's already played their match week 31. We don't remember that one. That's when we drew the Wolves. But now everybody else is going to play their catch-up games, with the exception of Man City. But speaking of Man City, we do have one game in here that is obviously all the rage and is not in the Premier League. And I think you guys all know what we're talking about. It's now time for Upset Alert. Let's go. All right. Well, the reason why this video is coming out one day earlier than normal is because it is Friday Night Football. Bournemouth hosts Man United at the Vitality Stadium for what it is, a 8 p.m. kickoff in the UK. By the way, I'm joined here by Jake, my betting expert / analyst now, who's using AI as a powerful tool now. So one thing I just learned about Jake. So Jake's a bit of a fucking genius. All right, let's go, Jake. How you going, brother? And you have any prop bets and predictions for this game we have coming up tonight?
Absolutely. Well, thanks for that glowing intro. That's amazing. I do what I can. I'm not going to go as far as genius, but I'll let you do that. Thank you very much for that. I think this is going to be a fun game, actually. I think it's going to be a scoring draw. And I think that this game is going to, whoever wins it, it's going to be all about my man, Bruno Fernandes. Can they stop him? If they do, then I think that Bournemouth are going to have some success. They're going to be able to get up the other side of the pitch and get some goals in this one. And I think that there will be moments in the game where they will stop him, but there are going to be other moments where they won't. And I think that the way this one sorts itself out, I think Seshko will play a role in this one as well. But the biggest thing that I'm locked in on is Bruno goal or assist. He's just in fantastic form. It's so tough to stop him when he's playing with freedom like they are right now. But I think Bournemouth, who are on a 10-game unbeaten run, even though it's been draw city recently, I think that kind of form will continue. And so for all of these reasons, 2-2.
What Jake failed to mention, by the way, is this. It was an upset alert, Jake. Jake, come on, wake up.
It's an upset alert.
I want a 2-2 draw, whatever. Draw is the most unlikely outcome of the game. So, if you've gone with draw, $3.80 on that bad boy is a very, very good value, considering that AI is telling us it's a draw, and it's one of the most likely outcomes of Bournemouth in the last month or so, which is crazy. They've had their form is crazy. It's long time of winning, long time of not winning, long time of winning, long time of not. It's crazy long stretches. It's
streaky.
Yeah, it's you can break their season out into 3 different thirds so far. A really hot start, then a massive drop off, and now we got a hot start, fourths, and now another massive drop off. It's you would only hope if you're a Bournemouth fan that there's one more to come.
Hey, if you remember the last time these two played, what happened in that game, don't be surprised if we see something similar.
Yeah. And not going to hit the button twice, but I've also gone for an upset alert, but I've actually gone the other way. As I was mentioning to Jake backstage, I just have this thing, and maybe it's just a gut feeling. By the way, Bournemouth in their last 5 games have scored 12 goals against Man United. Man United have a terrible record against Bournemouth. Now, Bournemouth are on terrible form.
4 in one game.
Bournemouth are on terrible form, and Man United, with the exception of an Asula winner, have been on a fantastic form since they've had a change of manager and Michael Carrick has taken over. But it just feels like every time that Man United fans start to get confident, they start to feel like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna get it this week. That's when it hits them. That's when it happens to them. And I still believe, like, just like last time I picked against Man United, which by the way I was wrong, but I was, you know, who could have predicted the way that game unfolded with the red cards and all that? They could see the idea. Bournemouth's another team that Man United struggle against in general, and I think, yeah, they have long periods of draws. Eventually, that's not going to play out forever, and I believe that Bournemouth at home. By the way, another thing that goes into my thinking is the fact that it is an early Friday night game under the lights. Those tend to go towards the home team in these games, and Man United tend to struggle in these type of fixtures, which is why I've gone with Bournemouth to actually win the ball game. All right, let's move on to the next afternoon lunchtime kickoff. Liverpool, fresh off of their 4-0 annihilation of Galatasaray. Oh, by the way, who told you Liverpool would have something to come back? I did, but we don't do that show for Champions League. Otherwise, you know, I would never sleep. But yeah, Liverpool are the favorites at $2.20. Brighton and the draw are out there $3 and $3.50 respectively. And I do think that Liverpool carry that momentum. I mean, of course, like that Dr. Tottenham, maybe they did help in the end. I don't know, because after that game, Liverpool did look good offensively, but it wasn't during that game. So maybe it was like a delayed symptom. I don't know, but the way I saw Mo Salah scoring screamers like that, I'm thinking that Liverpool might, you know, just have flicked a switch and carry that momentum on into the week. What about you, Jake? Do you have any prop bets, or what do you think about this week?
Yeah, I got something for you that it seems like you may have not realized before we started recording. Mo Salah's out, people. Injured. He will not be playing in this game. Already confirmed. Yes, I saw it in the headlines this morning. I saw it come out this morning.
Oh, mate! While I was doing all these graphics,
I didn't even think about it. I didn't even think about saying it to you, but that is one of the reasons I'm going for an upset alert. And I think it's going to be a fun back and forth. Brighton like to play out from the back. Liverpool like to press, and vice versa. So I think that there's going to be some goals in this one.
I feel so embarrassed now.
Mo Salah's out. So, but, you know, if you ask Liverpool fans, Salah's, you know, I thought that going on from the Galatasaray, an assist and a goal, he was going to be good, but now he's out. So I don't know. I think that this one's going to be back and forth. I definitely think that we're looking out for Hugo
Hertzler. But if you listen to Hertzler, you would believe it would be going back and forth. You know, he's.
Yeah, Hertzler's a little wild, man. Who knows how what he says in the press conference translates onto the field? You know, but yeah, I'm thinking Ekitike, however, is feeling good. So you look for him to score or assist.
I got Salah on the freaking graphic and everything. Damn.
I noticed that too. Yeah,
but I've also got a guy that you've got a prop on the
yes, Yakuba Mente, speedster. Look for him to get in behind on that left hand side for Liverpool. So whoever is it Kirkez or is it Robertson? We don't know. Make sure you're waiting for lineups, people. Always wait for lineups. But I think Matoma could get a G&A in this one perhaps. But yeah, Yakuba Mente is going to be taking shots. I recall a curler that David Raya had a save of the season against him. So he's definitely got the speed and the verve on the right-hand side for Brighton.
Guys, take Jake's advice on this one. I feel a bit embarrassed with the not knowing
Don't bet
enough
Salah to score. I'll tell you
about
that.
Salah.
Don't bet Mo Salah to score.
That was the whole premise behind why I picked Liverpool, was that Salah looked like he was finally woken up. When did he get injured between scoring a screamer and oh god?
He's not going to play for Egypt either, so it's in the international break. So it's something that's semi-serious.
Maybe it's a ploy. Maybe it's
it might be. It might be.
We'll see. All right, moving along quickly. Thank you very much. Fulham host Burnley. Now, last time me and Jake were very confident about Fulham beating Forest, and that was not to happen. That did not happen. We should actually sometimes go back and review some of these from last week.
Well, we got them like all wrong last week, so.
But the bookies do heavily favor Fulham in this one. They've got them in the dollar range, with Burnley all the way out at $6.50. Now, Fulham, you can argue, or it could be at the beach at this time, and Burnley, I don't know what they are. So it's an awkward little fixture here. But Jake, how are you feeling about this game in general? Fulham against Burnley. Are we going to double down on last week and hope that this time it hits?
Yeah, definitely. Despite Burnley maybe having a tiny little glimmer of hope, they're just really poor going forward, in my opinion. And I think Fulham, yes, they are going to be playing with freedom. And I do have a little bit of a fear of them flying kites and being on the beach and all that. A little tiny bit of fear. But I just think the quality is going to be there. Harry Wilson is going to be back. He's going to be comfortable. And I think he is going to be the one to look out for. And Fulham are going to handle business. Yeah. Harry Wilson, I'm a fan. He'll probably be back at Liverpool next season if I had to guess. Yeah.
Time. We just keep speaking into existence.
Yeah.
I mean, they could use him this week, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then, of course, look out for Raul Jimenez to get some shots on target in this one as well.
All right. Well, I'm going to echo that. This time I'm not going to make the same mistake in my last pick. I'm going to go along with Jake a little bit, but I do have a little bit of a goal for Burnley in there just to make it a little bit more spicy. So I do have a 2-1 win for Fulham. All right. By the way, you know what I've noticed about this week is every game is on a different time. So basically, like, if you want to sit and watch every single game this week, you can, with the exception, I think, Tottenham play at the same time as
Aston Villa and West Ham. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only
by the
one that
way,
overlaps.
which I think is for good reason, because you know have the West Ham and the Tottenham and Forest result on side by side. I mean, the whole relegation race will be going on at the same time. So maybe. I think this is one of the weekends, because of the Carabao Cup, they actually did rearrange the times of the games, which is why you have Man United on a Friday, because they haven't fucking played for forever.
And they won't play for another 3 weeks after this game.
Well, yeah. A lot of us weren't going to play after this game. We're going to be on international break. But yeah. So for me, this is what I've been thinking about. Obviously, it's a big news cycle week for Chelsea, for obvious reasons. They've got dumped out of the cup. I'd ache to be a Chelsea fan right now. So that was. You know what's so funny is that I made that joke when it was happening, and all of a sudden everybody made that joke, and it's like now it sounds like I'm being cliche.
It was on so many thumbnails and YouTube titles.
I know. But beyond that, though, of course, the news came out that between 2011 and 2019, it's now been confirmed that Roman Abramovich was cheating. That includes contracts of the likes of Eden Hazard and Willian and David Luiz, actually a bunch of former
Robbie
players.
Lyle said on DR Sports that when he was talking to Arsene Wenger at that conference or whatever, that Wenger said that we should have signed Hazard.
Yeah, well, I knew that we should have signed Hazard.
A certain payment from a third party to like buy his mom a house or something, and now he goes to Chelsea.
Oh, I knew for sure that Arsenal were in for Hazard. I mean, come on, look who we signed that summer instead.
I'd rather not think about
Gervinho. It was like we weren't Hazard. I'm like, oh well, they have another decent winger. Let's just, now that Chelsea got the other one, we'll just take this one.
Gervinho was decent. Hazard was legendary.
Yeah, well, Gervinho wasn't really much decent at all for Arsenal.
I liked him. I had a soft spot for him.
I did. I bought his jersey. I think I mentioned that before.
No way. That's what's up.
Yeah. But I do kind of feel like things like this can rally a team together. Again, there's been so many other things beyond that. The Liam Rosenior has been under the pump. The whole, respect the ball crap that's been going on everywhere, and he's been taking a pummeling. And it's been a rough week. But I do think that it'll be something that they galvanizes them together. It's an Everton team that is tough. Arsenal, we experienced that. They're going to defend well. But I do think that Chelsea are going to have a bounce back here. And I do have them actually going to the Hill Dickinson and winning 2-0. Jake, what about you, my friend?
Man, I think this one is going to be tight. I think there's going to be very few goals in this one. Everton are going to stink it out. Total David Moyes style, and I think it's going to work for him. I think it's going to be an upset. We're going to see a stinky performance from the Evertonians. They're not going to give anything away. They're going to play 4 corners. They're going to convert a corner because Chelsea are terrible at defending crosses, whether that be from set pieces, corner kicks, or just in general play. It's rough. Plus, Chalobah's out. James is out. We're not sure if Robert Sanchez or Jorgensen will start. It's all up in the air. The morale,
Gabriel Slanina, the American. There you go.
The morale is in the absolute pits of hell. You'd hate to be one of their players at the moment, especially with some of their bigger names maybe looking for the door. I mean, the mood around it's just not a good situation for the Blues. And I think that, just Everton's defensive display is going to be too much. And Chelsea are still going to have that Champions League hangover. 1-0 to the Toffees.
Damn, you know what? Fuck. I actually kind of agree with you. You actually you Oh, man. This is going to be a bad picking week for me. I've gone with Liverpool and Chelsea. Although you would have thought, hey, Liverpool and Chelsea, they should be winning. But, man, you make good arguments for that. I think it can go either way. It can either galvanize you, you can fall completely apart. Make or break. Any certain props you got for this one for the betting people?
I definitely think, for me, I think it's going to be, 1-0. I think it's going to be under the 2.5 mark. It could be 1-1, but I think there's going to be, chances, but maybe not a lot of goals in this one. But I do think João Pedro will continue to play well. His form has been, kind of steady of late. Even though the results haven't been there, he's still been producing. And so I at least give João Pedro a shot on target.
Shot on target means that's why you didn't say anytime goal scorer, right? Because you don't think there's going to be any.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to score. I don't think Chelsea will score at all. So I can't say 1-0 and then anytime goal scorer.
Right. Yeah. Very clever. All right. Moving on, I believe. Yeah, this is again another game at a different time slot. This one's at 8 p.m. The Bees buzzing to Ellen Road to take on Leeds. And look how close those odds are. They separate about 25 cents. And Leeds, look, given the fact that basically all of their relegation rivals or guys just below them play the next day, this is a great chance for Leeds to put the pressure on all of those teams. And they would go 5 clear of the drop zone with a win. So it's a big one. But for Brentford, on the other hand, man, they did an Arsenal, and they blew a 2-0 lead against Wolves, except for this one was at home. Man, Wolves, they're doing fucking
undefeated
great.
in 5 games. They haven't
the
lost
other
in 5
thing,
games.
The other thing that Wolves did was I was sitting there before that game, and I was like, "Hey, Brentford's going to make the Champions League." I said it. I put it into the Football Terrace group chat, and then everyone decided to repost the scoreline of that game as if like I'm actually a Brentford fan. But yeah, that
like that's going to affect you at all.
you know what it is though? I think people are annoyed because I've been right about lots of things all season, and they really fucking hate me for it. Like, to really extreme effects. Like, we were talking about Reece James, and I was saying how it was a bad contract. And I was the only one who was saying it was a bad contract. Anton, you know what you're talking about. It's a fantastic use, a great player, blah, 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 blah.
I'm surprised by that, actually. I was actually surprised.
And then 3 days later, I'm like, what did I tell y'all? Like,
I wasn't surprised that Reece James signed the contract. From Reece James's point of view, bite your hand off. But from Chelsea point of view, at first I was like, what in the hell are you doing? And then I remembered that Chelsea are run by absolute idiots. So,
dude, 6 years. Like,
idiots.
Give me a prove it deal.
Idiots.
Make it like a 3 years, 2 years. Like,
ignoramuses.
Yeah, honestly. But yeah, that being said, we've gone on a tangent. Nothing to do with Chelsea at all, but I was just saying about Brentford. I have them pushing for Europe, and that push continues. Come on, bees. I got them with a 2-1 win at Ellen Road, which I think is teams are starting to get results at Ellen Road, which they weren't really before. So I do think that Brentford is a good team. I feel like the depth isn't all there, but Igor Thiago has been an absolute beast, and I just expect him to continue that scoring run. I actually think he'll get both Brentford goals in this one. Jake, how are you feeling about this game?
I'll say this: I like both of these teams. I actually enjoy watching both of these guys play, and I've been hoping that Leeds stay in the league all season long, and I think they will do. I think they play well, especially at home. And I was looking at their score lines, trying to do my predictions on this one. And if you look at their score lines just on the surface, it's like, not necessarily scoring as much. But if you actually watched the City game, they should have scored 4 times against Manchester City, And Dominic Calvert-Lewin has just been called up to England, so he'll be boosted by that, of course. I think there's going to be goals, man. But I do think this is another upset alert. At least based on the odds. Anyway, this is going to be a scoring draw. 2-2. Lots of good play in this one. It's going to be back and forth. I don't think that either team will sit back and try to defend despite league table position. Leeds are very brave at home, as we saw versus Manchester City. Guys, this is going to be a fun game. You should definitely tune in. This is going to be a good one. But as far as your props go, I think, I agree with you 100%. Igor Thiago is going to score. And if you want to go the other way, Dominic Calvert-Lewin is who I would predict to score other one. But your safest prop bet is probably going to be both teams to score. And if you're feeling good, maybe even bet the over on the 2.5. I definitely think there will be goals. Should be a fun one.
I mean, it is a fun. I mean, one thing I do like, as I said earlier about this week, is that you can actually get a chance to watch basically every team this weekend, basically. And that leads up to the main course, which is not in the league, but it's going to be a fun one. And speaking of which, we start off our Sunday schedule, the massive Sunday.
Huge. I mean, huge.
And it begins at 12 p.m. kickoff, Newcastle against Sunderland, the Tyne-Wear derby, this time on Tyneside. Sunderland did win the first matchup at the Stadium of Light, or the Fortress of Light, But dude, they lost again last week at home to Brighton. The Fortress, that's 3 straight losses in a row at the Fortress at the Stadium of Shite. That's what my man Ash calls it.
They've got their points, man. They're safe. They're home and dry. They're in the league next season. They've already hit 40.
Yeah. How are you feeling about this, the reverse fixture now of this Tyne-Wear derby? Second one since Sunderland have come back into the Premier League.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be a fun one. I think, yes, there might be a Champions League hangover, but I think that will be combated well with the fact that this is the big one. This is the derby, and Newcastle needs some revenge after losing the opposite fixture. So I definitely think Newcastle are going to win this one, but I do think both teams will score. I think it's going to be a close one, hard-fought battle, but Newcastle will be boosted by the fact that Tonali is in fact not injured. They are doing a test today, so we'll see, but he should feature. I saw that a lot of people were worried that it might be a muscle injury, but the scan says there's no muscle injury, no muscle damage, and so he might get to play. That would be a huge boost, especially without having Bruno Guimaraes. But I think the tactics will be different than this one than they were versus Barcelona, than they were versus Manchester City. I think that if Eddie Howe listens to me, I think Voltemata will get to start in this one, and I think they should target him way more than trying to do the fast-paced, getting in behind kind of stuff, because there might not be as much space in behind. And for that reason, and I'm a fan of the German Jack Sparrow, I think he's going to score or assist.
There you go.
I think he'll it. That's why I call him the German Jack Sparrow.
One thing I love about these derby games is it can go either way, and that's how I feel. I think Sunderland is winning again by the same scoreline as they did the first time. Look, I do believe in Champions League hangovers, and that would be a demoralizer. I mean, they were in that tie. It was 3-3 on aggregate. And then all of a sudden, the roof came off. And that is a shocker for me.
Absolutely capitulated, man.
I agree with your premise that Sunderland are at the beach, but I feel like they got one big one left because they hate Newcastle so much. Actually, I like Granit Xhaka to score in this one, actually.
Oh, give it to me. Give it to me.
I don't know if you missed your prop bet. You've gone with Voltemata.
Voltemata, yeah.
But I don't know why. I just feel like it's going to be like a Xhaka screamer 1-0. I think the last one was like an own goal was a 1-0. I'm pretty sure the first game was. Don't
count out Brian Brobby either.
Yeah, there
Sunderland forward. I like him. He's good.
Yeah, but I just feel like it's the type of game that Xhaka would score in, like a big derby game away from home. He's probably got one of these for the crowd. Or either that or he's going to get the crowd riled up because that's what he does. Xhaka at Anfield.
Liverpool, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, look, I just feel like it's a bad moment. Like Sunderland are funny, man. Like not Sunderland, Newcastle. Like they would have a huge last minute win against United, then they'll fucking lose the next game to City. Then they'll have like a huge then I think they had the draw against Barcelona at home. Oh, huge. That's a different result, so that we have a mixed bag. And then they'll go fucking beat Chelsea at the Bridge, and then they'll go get demolished at like it's up and down. And because the last one was like such a bad one, I just feel like it's gonna be a loss, but not as bad as that one. So it's still a better result. But yeah, I think Sunderland have got it done. All right, moving on to the relegation double header. First of all, at Villa Park, Aston Villa are the favorites, just under $2 for this one. And they've been on a really, really bad run of form recently. And West Ham have got some pretty good damn results recently as they're fighting out of... I think they're actually back in the relegation zone now because
Because of goal difference. It's horrible. They're like 12 back of Forest. It's bad.
Yeah, so this is a huge one. And I'm going to talk about a little bit on Anton's tiers in terms of this weekend, because I think this is a defining weekend in terms of the relegation battle. West Ham are playing against a wounded animal, I believe, in Aston Villa. Like, if Aston Villa have any shot of retaining that Champions League spot and not dropping out of it, because everybody expecting them to just do that based on their form. And I think they got a little bit of a stubbornness. Actually got a Morgan Rogers special. And if you've seen this year, sometimes when Villa have really needed wins, their talisman has really dug him out. I actually think I could see him scoring from a free kick winner or something like that. And I just think Villa, and this is going to be a bad news for West Ham fans, because that means that the other two can just draw it out and double tag team them. But I think that Villa are so desperate right now to get any sort of win, and at Villa Park against the West Ham team, who I feel like, that last game was a big one. It was a massive high. Even though it was a draw against City, I just feel like the low is coming, and I feel like it's due for Villa on the other side, if that makes sense. So, I do have, Morgan Rogers double brace, and them winning against West Ham. What about you, Jake?
I'm looking at this one from a completely different angle. Unai Emery, as we know, loves to prioritize the cups, and they just put in another pretty good performance against Lille. Emi Martinez with the pre-assist for a beautiful goal. Throws it all the way into the channel. Buendia just puts it across for the tap-in. Lovely stuff. But I think Villa have their eye on that Europa League. I think they are put a lot of energy into it, a lot of chips in that basket. And on the other side, West Ham are resurgent. They've been playing a lot better recently. They're in a good run of form. The confidence will be there. And that's why I think we're in for another upset. Because Villa kind of have the league a little bit on the back burner, and they are in free fall there. Eyes on that Europa League, combines with West Ham in absolutely dire straits. Have to have it. Like, there is no, gotta have a result here. I think the results will keep coming for the Hammers, and I'm predicting a 1-1 draw in this one. Look for the captain, El Capitan, Mr. Jared Bowen. Looking like Terry Flores will get a score or assist in this one.
Terry's gonna love
that. Honestly, that's just an aside, but I think they do resemble each other a little bit. But also, Tati Castellanos up top for West Ham has, he's been better than I think they would have expected when they brought him in. They kind of kept Callum Wilson because they weren't sure on Tati, but I think he's been playing well. And so he might also get a shot on target or have some shots in there as well. Another one to look out for.
You don't like my Morgan Rogers special idea, okay? That's all right.
We shall see.
Moving on. This is the big one. This, I feel like, is the match I've been waiting for in the Premier League this weekend the most. No disrespect to the Tom Weir Derby or to Chelsea Everton, but this one, for me, is a long time coming, and I've been telling you guys for weeks. I'm not even using my brain for this one. I'm going to use my heart. All right. They've made Tottenham the favorites, and for me, I'm just like, thank you.
Easy money.
I've got Nottingham Forest going to Tottenham and doing what everybody does at Tottenham. Winner, chicken dinner. Forest are going to send Tottenham into the relegation zone officially with a 2-1 win over the Scum at their ground. Yeah, and by the way, I love a good old Morgan Gibbs White thought of an anytime goal scorer. Or an Elliot Anderson, or maybe anytime assist or something like that. I don't know. I just feel like those boys have been on good form recently, with the exception of last week against Fulham. But forget about that one. They did the same thing against City, and I just think, hey, if they can go away to the Etihad and get a draw there, why can't they go to Tottenham and get a win there? And I just feel like okay, Dr. Tottenham couldn't fix Liverpool, but and they got a win against. But I feel like, why do they fucking waste their energy on Atletico Madrid in a tie that was dead? The big game is on the weekend. What are you doing, Tudor? And Tottenham fans were like, hey, Tudor, you've you fucking fixed us. We're gonna. Did you hear the guy who got him on Talksport and said, "Hey, I think next year Tottenham could be title challengers." Yeah, I agree. In the Championship, not in the Premier League. You absolute dunce cap. All right, what do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I'm feeling a little different about this one, unfortunately. And when I was looking at this one and doing how I feel about it, thinking about it, I kind of felt a little let down just because of what I'm kind of seeing. I feel like the Liverpool result for Spurs has been a little bit of a turning point, galvanizing. And then they got the win versus Atletico. And I think in these kinds of matches, in this moment in the season, morale and, the vibes kind of around the club are very, very important when you're just really what you got to do in these moments is to go out and die for that badge. And I think that Tudor has maybe gotten that message across more so in this last week than he has in his entire time there, and so I think Spurs will be up for it. Combine that with the fact that Forest had to go to Denmark on Thursday, and come from behind to win the tie, which they did. They won on penalties, and they went through versus Midtjylland in the Europa League, so I think there might be a little bit of a hangover. I think they're going to give it a go, and I think both teams will score, but I think Spurs are going to win this one 2-1. And I think Xavi Simons, after having that game,
first win of 2026. If that were to happen in the
Premier League, yeah, they did beat Atletico. Only Spurs could get their first actual win of 2026, but lose the tie. Very Spursy. Anyway, I do think that, unfortunately, for all involved, all watching, I think Spurs will get it done in this one. I think there will be goals, and I think Xavi Simons, after that banger at the end of the game to win it, is going to be feeling confident. I think he might have a good game. But I also like your Gibbs White shout as far as production. I think he'll at least get a shot on target, maybe even get a goal himself. But yeah, Spuds are going to win it, I think.
Do you realize what you've just done here? You just kept them up in the Premier League, right?
Yeah, I know. I think and I also believe wholeheartedly, I put this in my Cup Chasers group chat, if they beat Forest, I think they go on to survive.
Well, yeah, I mean, the maths would say to say that, wouldn't they?
That's not what I want to happen. That's not what I hope happens. But this, for the purposes of this video, we're trying to be objective, at least a little bit.
At least one of us is trying to be objective. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm that objective. I get by the way, the midget land thing. I always call them midget land. That does make a lot of sense.
Nice.
But well, you don't like the whole, hey, they went to the Etihad, got a draw. Why can't they go and win it against Tottenham? For me, that's just like. Anyway,
I believe wholeheartedly in European hangovers.
From one North London team that is fighting to go down, the other one is fighting for their first trophy since 2020, and that is our club, the Arsenal. This is not a Premier League game, okay? Just so you know. This is the Carabao Cup final. Arsenal do not host or not host. They play at neutral territory at Wembley. I mean,
sort of host. Wembley is our backyard.
Yeah, by the way, Mikel Arteta has won every single game as player and as manager at Wembley. But Pep Guardiola has never lost a Carabao Cup final himself. So something's going to give.
One of those records
this
is done.
Weekend. And by the way, these are the two biggest teams in the country. We've been preying on each other's downfalls all year. We haven't played each other really since September.
Yeah,
it's been 6 months since we since we actually went head to head. We've just been lurking in the shadows, watching each other on TV, and now we finally get to meet on the pitch with the prize being the Carabao Cup. And for Man City, they saw their prospects in the Premier League really kind of something big break or just a pen?
I dropped my phone.
Oh, your phone. Just like Jake's phone dropped, so did Man City's chances of winning the Premier League last weekend against West Ham. They followed that up by getting knocked out of the Champions League. Pep is sitting around dressed like like Tony Hawk at a retirement home. Arsenal, played probably one of their best offensive performances the whole year the other day. So this is, look, the big one. This feels like, Man City's best chance to win a trophy now this season, so that you could put it in that way. I think there's a lot of pressure on them to do it, and I do think that they are going to give a different type of performance for Arsenal, unfortunately, as that they would in their previous games, just because they're so obsessed with us and we are in their heads.
Rent free for real. Rent free for real.
Yeah. And for Arsenal, I feel like Arteta will be telling his team it's quite simple. You guys win. Gabriel Magalhaes, have you won a trophy since you signed for Arsenal in 2021? Nope. William Saliba, have you won a trophy since you signed for Arsenal? Nope. Bukayo Saka, you've only got
He's the only one.
That's
He's
it.
the only
Martinelli.
one.
Sorry, Martinelli. Like, how many of these players have been there for such a long time and not won? This is a project that's been going on for years and years and years. It's simple. Win a trophy, whatever you can. You got the international break coming up. Just let's go out and by any means necessary, let's put out a performance. Let's do all we can. Let's put it all out on the line. And we'll see, the two set up always very interestingly. Every single game seems to be different. Like, look at the last one. It was Pep he was parking the bus. The game before that, Arsenal absolutely demolished them at the Emirates. That was just over 14 months ago now. The
Give me one of those. I'd love to see that again.
It was a comeback from Arsenal. Trossard got sent off. Then they end up scoring last minute. The one before that, Arsenal held on for a 0-0 draw. The one before that, Arsenal won 1-0, and then a bunch of them before I don't even want to talk about.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about them. But it's a mixed kind of bag in terms of how these two teams have played. I feel like the pendulum is somewhat swinging in Arsenal's favor. Jake, how do you feel about this game? Our Gunners, a date with destiny. Will we come out finally, and will we add the first of a potential 4 trophies from the bag into the bag this weekend?
I think we will. I think that this is finally the first meeting of these two teams in a long time where there's no permutations, there's no outside influence. This is a one-off. This is a go and win the game. There's no incentive for either team to park the bus and just try to defend it out and get a stinky jaw or anything like that. There's no incentive for either team to do that. So finally, I think we're going to get an Arsenal-Man City game where both teams try to go for it. And it's going to be periods of Manchester City dominating the ball and periods of Arsenal dominating the ball back and forth, because we do play similar styles. I think the biggest kicker in this game is whether or not Pep bamboozles himself. You know what I mean? And tries something crazy and just does a Pep and does something crazy. I think that's how this game is going to turn. But I have all confidence and faith in our normal approach to games. And I think because that's what Arteta's going to do. He's way less likely to do something crazy than Pep is. And so I think we're just going to go with what we normally do. And I think if we play the way we know we can, and I think there's going to be freedom as well, just based on all of the things around this game going into it do favor Arsenal. So I think there's going to be freedom in this one. And I think that it's going to be the first time where we don't see either team just defending for their lives for the whole game. And I think that the pendulum has swung. And I think simply Arsenal are the better team at the moment. And I think we're going to win 2-1.
Yeah, look, I echo Jake and thinking about how you've been breaking down that one. I agree with your premise. But if your premise is correct, Arsenal will win because Arsenal don't need to focus on defending to still defend well. I think the unit is solid. Arsenal control games, which is going to be this is what, if by the way, if City don't park the bus, because I do feel like that's their best shot of actually winning if they were actually going to do that and do something similar to what they did at the Emirates. because I do feel like, you brought this up last week, Gahey being out. And I heard Man City fans saying, hey, if we play like we did against Madrid, we'll beat Arsenal in the final. I'm like, Madrid.
Excuse me, what?
Sliced through. No, they're talking about this game of last week. Yeah. Madrid sliced through you. They gave up 6 key chances.
Vinny should have scored 5 goals.
Yeah.
Please.
No, but they're saying, hey, we are all these goals disallowed. We attacked them.
Please play like you did versus Madrid. Please play like that.
That's the way I feel like. If they go out after us like they did Madrid, or they just attack in their normal way, Arsenal, we do have the answers. We have the best defense that probably is in the world. We can control games. You got your Rice, your Mendy. Eze's now learning how to play off the ball and looked really, really good doing that against Bayer Leverkusen the other day. On the other hand, though, if Arsenal are given spaces to attack Man City have been giving up key opportunities to everybody. They've been leaky, and they've kind of fixed that issue a little bit with Gahey. I'm interested to see, by the way, a lot of people are calling for Ryan Cherki. This is where Man City's team is very imbalanced. So you get one or the other. So a lot of people are calling for, hey, I want Cherki to start. I want Reinders to start to give them a better offensive output, more creativity. But what does that mean? That means that Nico O'Reilly gets sacrificed, and Rodri doesn't have good enough support to help him control games in the midfield, and then they get overrun and they get exposed. It's either that or the other. So either they're able to have free-flowing attacking football with Ryan Cherki in there, or it's the other way around where they kind of can't put together attacks. But that's when they're better on the defensive side. So it's either one or the other. Like, which are you going to choose? This is why it's such a conundrum for Pep. But I can understand why things have been the certain way it is. I can understand why he leaves Cherki out in big games, because he just doesn't want to get exposed. He did it against Real Madrid the other day, and you saw what Real Madrid did, right? And he didn't do it against West Ham. Hey, West Ham needed to score from a corner. So you see how the two things kind of collide. And if it goes the way that you say it's going to go, in terms of everyone's going to kind of just go after this game, logic dictates that Arsenal is much better equipped to do it, because they can control games and they're better on the defensive end, and the spaces will be wide open. I do think it's going to be a 2-1, and I do think it's going to be an extra time. I think it'll be maybe a 1-1. I think it'll be a mixture of the two, where there'll be times where the spaces will be there, and there'll be times where I think, especially towards the end of regulation, where it'll start to tighten up and there'll be a little bit of nerves. But I do kind of feel like, though, as City tire, and this is kind of where I feel like in that extra time period, as City tire, and by the way, they do not have a Gahey to lean on. I can see Kuzanov, and I can see a Rodri, because he's got some injury issues and he's aging a little bit, and I can see a Diaz having similar issues. As the game goes on, I think there'll be more and more spaces for Arsenal, and I think that Arsenal is going to grab one. I wouldn't be surprised if City take the lead and Arsenal have to grab the equalizer and then grab the winner, but some way, by hook or by crook, I do think we're going to win it. I don't think it's going to be straightforward. Pep Guardiola is going to have something for us. And if anybody thinks that it's going to be a foregone conclusion, you're wrong. I still think we're going to win, but I don't think it's going to be some sort of smashing. And I think if you're doing that, you're just trying to pull some sort of,
some narrative that you're working on.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah. Any props for this game? Goal scorers? Anything?
Yes. I'm calling my shot. Right here. So I know you watch a ton of ball, and when you look at teams that play the high line like this, what is the main pattern that you see at least once or twice every game? Newcastle did this a bunch, not only versus City, but also versus Barca. Get in behind on the wing and an early ball across to the back post, where they've tried to get that guy off sides, but he's through. He's behind the line because we've broken the trap. So if it is Martinelli, which I think he might start on the left, get in behind the line and a one-time ball across for a Gyökeres finish. I'm calling it. That's going to happen. Gyökeres anytime. And, of course, it is Erling Haaland. It is a final. It is Thor, the Norwegian meat shield, and despite being in a bit of a drought for his standard, I think Holland is likely to score as well. But yeah, I think those are safe bets, and I think Gyökeres is going to be the hero, and we're going to win.
You know what? I can't disagree with you. I actually think, why do I feel like all three of the goals, we've both said 2-1. Why do I feel like all three of the goals are going to be a combination of these two players? I feel like it's going to be Gyökeres brace, and Holland will get one.
Yeah, I can hear it.
You know what? I actually wouldn't be surprised. Actually, when I was been thinking about this, right? Because I was thinking about the Everton game, and then I was thinking about how City are, and I actually feel like Kai Havertz might start this game, and Victor Gyökeres might come on and wreak havoc against that high line in the second half when they're a little bit more tired. Sure. I feel like, and this is why I feel like the game is going to go. I actually think City's going to take the lead, and I think we're going to be a little bit nervous. We're going to be, sitting there, but we'll be knowing that number 14 is sitting there on that bench. And just like last week against Everton, Arteta is going to call number 14, Mr. Victor, off the bench. He's going to grab that equalizer. It's going to be some sort of tap in, and then he's going to go ahead in the second period and then score like some sort of fucking banger from outside the box, and Arsenal's going to win.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
And he's going to give you one of these.
Inject that right into my veins.
Give you two of these. He's going to give you two of these.
I want it. I need it.
I don't know why. When I close my eyes, I think about the game. That's how I think it's going to be.
I need this in my life.
What do you think? Do you think he starts Havertz or Gyökeres?
I think Gyökeres starts. I hear what you're saying, and I hear it, but I think we are best with Gyökeres up top, and I think that he's going to start his best team.
The reason I said that is because I see it being an 120-minute football match.
Sure.
And in that case, I know Arteta, and I know he's going to sub out Victor.
Yeah.
And if there's a potential of penalties, right? I'd rather have my best penalty taker on the pitch when I need a trophy in the second. That's the way I think about it. I think about it as a 20, just like I think about it. A Champions League ties is 120 minutes, 180 minutes, excuse me. I think about this is 120 minutes potentially, especially with this type of opponent. But you think that we're going to beat them in the 90, though?
Yeah, I do.
So there are two ways to go about it. Anyway, guys, it has almost been 1 hour. It's been, to be honest, it's a packed weekend.
Yeah,
because we have this cup final and everything, and the relegation fights, and everyone's playing at different times and everything. So it's going to be a really, really enjoyable weekend. That actually begins, hopefully I get this video within the next hour of us recording. Within the next, I'm going to say 5 hours from now, will be Man United against...
6 hours.
I'm saying 6 hours. For the first viewer of my video, it'll be 5 hours. Man United against Bournemouth, and as we said, from the top, that's going to be a lot of fun really good, a lot of good
great
games.
matchups. Great matchups. This weekend.
Brighton and Liverpool, like
fun.
That's fun. I mean, okay, Fulham and Burnley can almost kind of sleep through. I mean, the Chelsea Everton one, the we're talking about Leeds against Brentford. That's going to be a
fun.
And then, of course, the time we're, and then talk about that
all Sunday long. So all of Sunday is great stuff.
Man, it's going to be good stuff. Guys, enjoy Anton's Tears. We're going to be coming out after the Man United game. It's been a very, very jam-packed week for me. So the Tears kind of got pushed down the line. First time ever. It's actually going to come out after Upset Alert. But it is definitely. I'm most of the way through it. I'll record it in the morning, my time, after the Man United game is over. I will be disregarding the result of that game. Okay, so if anybody goes, "Oh, Man United, they shouldn't be top 4 because they lost to Bournemouth," or vice versa,
they still will be if they lose. They've done well enough to put them in a good situation.
Yeah. Anyway, guys. All right. Take care, and enjoy the football. And a fucking oath, I really hope Arsenal get a trophy this weekend. Please. Please. That's all I ask for after my birthday. I don't know. I already got the Eze goal for my birthday, so am I being too greedy? Anyway, guys, see ya. And enjoy the games this weekend. We're out of here.